active probe into war crimes in Ukraine. Drugs. Reconsider ATA law ruling, SC asked. Running priest appeals to Comelec. Basco welcomes 150th Malasakit Center. Rebels and soldiers killed in Lanao del Sur clash. Russia's sporting freeze grows. Good morning, I am Vernon Velasco and this is Tribune News on Q. Today is March 3, 2022 and these are the latest news Thursday morning. The International Criminal Court's Chief Prosecutor Karim Khan said Wednesday an active probe into possible war crimes in Ukraine will immediately proceed after his office received the backing of 39 countries. The countries include all EU member states, as well as Australia, Britain, Canada, New Zealand, Switzerland, and several Latin American countries. Khan announced Monday he was opening a probe into alleged war crimes committed after Russia's invasion of Ukraine last week. Khan said he believed there was a reasonable basis to believe that crimes within the court's jurisdiction had been committed, but he needed the Hague-based court's judges to approve his decision before going ahead. However, the ICC country's referral now means that Khan's probe can continue without the judge's approval, speeding up the process. That would include any past and present allegations of war crimes against humanity or genocide committed on any part of territory of Ukraine by any person. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson told Parliament on Wednesday that Russian President Vladimir Putin was guilty of a war crime after civilian wars bombed in Ukraine, echoing an earlier accusation by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Khan, who was recently appointed as prosecutor, said his probe will be conducted objectively and independently and focus on ensuring accountability for crimes falling within ICC jurisdiction. The Hague-based ICC war established in 2002 as an independent court to try individuals accused of genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. In other news, some 160 million pesos in illegal drugs has been confiscated during the pandemic, according to Interior and Local Government Secretary Eduardo Año. In his report to President Duterte during his nationwide Talk to the People briefing, Año said the DILG conducted 1,230 anti-illegal drug operations during the pandemic, resulting in the arrest of 1,658 individuals. 26 surrendered and another died with the confiscated shabu, marijuana, ecstasy, and mogadon reaching 1,599,856,476 pesos. Ano said the operations were conducted when the country started lockdown implementations due to pandemic on March 2020. He said that there were no healthcare facilities and only around 1,500 test kits were available when the surge came. He said that the decision of the president to impose a lockdown saved 200,000 lives for the wise handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. As the case continues to drop, they will continue to implement granular lockdowns. Even at alert level 1, local government units will still conduct granular lockdowns. Nationwide, 21 LGU or 104 barangays have been placed under granular lockdown. Petitioners against the Antiterrorism law have filed a motion for reconsideration for the Supreme Court to declare the law constitutional except for parts in 2 sections of Republic Act 11479. Petitioners in the 25 cases filed their joint 75-page motion for reconsideration of the 37 petitions decided by the High Court. On the basis of the current petitions, the SC ruled that all the other challenged provisions of RA 11479 are not unconstitutional. The petitioners pleaded the SC to reconsider its decision on the 3rd paragraph of the law section, as they allege that it is unconstitutional for being vague, overbroad, and for failing to meet the strict scrutiny test. They also brought up Section 29 of the law on the power of the Antiterrorism Council. The petitioners allege the written authorization issued by ATC partakes of a warrant of arrest, which the Council has no authority since only judge can issue such warrants. The petitioners on the detention of the suspects told the SC that the prolonged detention of 14 days, extendable for another 10 days, is odious and oppressive. A prolonged detention of an accused is fraught with dangers to security because the person might be tortured or coerced to confession, or it could lead to the manufacture of evidence, they said. They pointed out that prolonged detention would deprive a suspect of his right to speedy disposition of his case and forfeit his right to bail and other illegal remedies. The joint motion for reconsideration has to be raffled among the members who comprise the majority when the ruling was handed down last December based on the rules. Tribune News on Q will be back after these reminders.
Daily Tribune, may digital shows na din. Dahil sa mas lumalaki at mas lumalakas nating tribu, handog sa inyo ng Daily Tribune ang mga programang magbibigay buhay araw-araw. Be informed at mag-good vibes tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Be updated sa news and happenings sa Tribune News on Q. Mas kilalanin pa natin ang mga paborito nyong atleta sa programang The Athletes Tribune. Alamin ang latest entertainment sa programang What's Up. Ma-inspire sa mga kwentong hatid ng Perfect. Search lang ang Daily Tribune sa inyong Facebook at Tribune Now on YouTube. See you there mga katribu! Fun and inspiring na kwentuhan? Sagot na yan ang programang Spotlight ng Daily Tribune. Makipagkwentuhan at kilalanin ng iba't ibang personalidad na kilala sa kani-kanilang larangan. Manood at makinig sa mga inspiring stories na kanilang ibabahagi kasama si Nina Ventura at Jojo Silvestre. Be ready ng mamangha at matuwa every Thursday alas 2 ng hapon dito lang sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube. Mga katribu, tara na't makiisa at matuto sa mga public service programs hatid ng Kalingang Katribu. Tuwing Lunes, nandyan ang usapang business na magbibigay tips at inspirasyon sa mga aspiring entrepreneurs kasama si Vernon Velasco. Tuwing Miyerkules, usapang pangkalusugan naman ang tatalakayin ni Miss Cory Quirino sa Health and Wellness. At tuwing Biyernes naman, kung legal advice ang kailangan mo, sagot ka na ng Legal Diaries kasama si Elmer Navarro Manuel at mga guest lawyers. Lahat ng niya mapapanood tuwing alas 3:30 ng hapon sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube.
We are back on Tribune News on Q. A Catholic priest on Wednesday reminded the Commission on Elections not to burn the votes of the people as they call for the integrity of the upcoming polls in May. Activist priest Father Robert Reyes said during his prayer in front of the Comelec headquarters in Intramuros, Manila, for the Ash Wednesday that the poll body commissioners will pass and they will be accountable to the Almighty. Reyes claimed that most of his parishioners have lost their trust on the poll body as he appealed for it not to be a crony establishment. Catholics are called to pray and read the scripture daily throughout Lent, refrain from meat on Friday, fast on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday, and do acts of mercy. In other news, Basco welcomes 150 at Malasakit Center by Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo, pledged to continue initiating and supporting measures to improve access to quality healthcare in far-flung areas around the country during the launch of the 150th Malasakit Center at the Batangas General Hospital in Basco, the capital town of Batangas. The said Malasakit Center is the first in the province and the fifth in Cagayan Valley region, with centers also located at the Cagayan Valley Medical Center in Tuguegarao City, Cagayan, Faustino N.D. Senior Memorial Hospital in Ilagan City, and Southern Isabela Medical Center in Santiago City, both in the province of Isabela, and Region 2 Trauma and Medical Center in Bayombong, Nueva Vizcaya. The senator lauded the efforts of the Duterte administration to enhance the delivery of key basic services for a more responsive government and promised to continue supporting programs and projects that will foster the development of Batanes, particularly in the area of public health. The Malasakit Center is a one-stop shop which brings together the various agencies that offer medical assistance, namely the Department of Health, the Department of Social Welfare and Development, and the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation and Philippine Charity Statistics Office. To recall, Go spearheaded the creation of the first Malasakit Center in Cebu City, and in 2018 with the aim of giving particularly poor and financially incapacitated patients convenient access to quality healthcare. He then authored and sponsored the bill that became Republic Act 11463, otherwise known as the Malasakit Centers Act, upon becoming a senator the following year. The law mandates all health department-run hospitals to open their own Malasakit Center. Other public hospitals, including those run by local government units, may also establish their own center provided they meet a standard set of criteria. The senator, who also heads the Senate Committee on Health, likewise promised to push for more legislative measures that will protect the welfare of the hospital staff and other health workers, such as Senate Bill 2421 or the COVID-19 Benefits and Allowances for Health Workers Act of 2021. In other news, authorities reported that 3 individuals believed to be members of the Dawlaya Islamiyah and a soldier were killed, while 4 other soldiers were wounded during a 3-hour clash in the forested areas of Barangay Ilalag in Maging, Lanao del Sur. Armed Forces of the Philippines Western Mindanao Command, Commander Lieutenant General Alfredo Rosario Jr., said that soldiers also recovered several high-powered assault rifles and ammunition after the encounter with the Dawla Islamiyah Maute group believed under Abu Zakaria. He noted that troops of the 51st and 55th Infantry Battalions were conducting combat operations in Barangay Ilalag when they encountered about 40 fully armed members of the front led by Zakaria on Tuesday. A firefight immediately ensued, and after the smoke cleared, the state troops recovered the cadaver of 3 terrorists and of a soldier. The slain soldier's identity and those who were injured were withheld, but noted that the wounded soldiers were in stable condition at a hospital in Lanao del Sur. Tribune News on Q will be back. Stay with us.
Magandang araw mga katribu! Narito na ang mga makakasama nyo tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Roy Pelevelo, Atty. Lia Badillo Crisostomo, Vernon Velasco, Kim Sancha at Chert Balagtas. Abangan ang programang Gising Na mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune.
Ilabas na ang mainit na kape at samahan kami sa inyong pag-almusal, mga katribo.
Simulan natin ang bawat umaga with good vibes sa mga informative and recreational segments ng aming programa.
Maaari niyo rin ibahagi sa amin ang inyong opinion via Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube.
Makichika na rin sa latest showbiz happenings, mga katribo.
Kaya naman, magkita-kita po tayo mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga at magsama-sama po tayo sa
Gising Na! You are still watching Tribune News on Q. Russia continued to pay a heavy sporting price for its invasion of Ukraine on Tuesday, frozen out by a snowballing list of sports with perhaps the most painful blows coming from ice skating and athletics. Russian and Belarusian tennis players will be allowed to continue competing on the WTA and ATP tours and in Grand Slam tournaments, but their teams were suspended from the Davis Cup and Billie Jean King Cup. Russia, traditionally a powerhouse in figure skating, they won 6 medals at the Beijing Olympics, including 2 gold, had their skaters barred from all competitions. This rules them out of March World Championship to be hosted in Montpellier, France. Their track and field athletes, as well as those from Belarus, joined them in being barred from this year's World Championships, indoors and outdoors, later on Tuesday. It was a decision not taken lightly, with World Athletics President Sebastian Coe describing it as going against the grain to punish athletes, but sport has to step up. Belarusian athletes are being punished as the country is being condemned internationally for being used as a launch pad by Russian forces to attack neighboring Ukraine. Both are significant blows for Russia, which under President Vladimir Putin had used sport as a powerful force for its image both globally and internally. Under his presidency, it has hosted the Winter Olympics in 2014 in Sochi, although that was overshadowed by the state-sponsored doping scandal, and the 2018 Men's Football World Cup. And that wraps up the stories this morning. Before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store, Araneta City, the Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Hino Motors, Security Bank, Empire East Land Holdings, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Vernon Velasco on Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay home. Good morning.
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its Viber community, Katribu, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tarsito are available on our community Viber.